Staying with us, just when we thought their fire was out, South Africa's second opposition party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, is spoiling for a fight at this year's State of the Nation address. President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the 2020 edition of the address in Parliament this Thursday, and the EFF has accused him of failing in his duties since assuming office in 2012. The party, among others, want Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan fired for crisis at several of the country's state-owned enterprises, which have not helped the ailing economy. Our South African correspondent, Katleho Lehodi, filed this report.
The Economic Freedom Fighters are unhappy with the state of affairs in the country, and they say President Cyril Ramaphosa is to blame.
We want Ramaphosa to reduce unemployment. We want Ramaphosa to grow our economy. We want Ramaphosa to allow Africans to participate in the economy of South Africa. We want Ramaphosa to leave our companies alone. Dinel, AXA, Eskom, Transnet, all those things, SAA, they belong to us. It's our property. And he wants to give our properties to his friends to pay the debt of 1 billion which they gave him during his campaign. Is none of our problems.
The EFF maintains the army's guided efforts to discredit the work of the public protector. Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane is involved in a court battle with the president over the 500,000 rand Busasa donation into his 2017 presidential campaign. The EFF has slammed the appointment of retired Judge Robert Nugent to head a parliamentary process into the public protector's fitness to hold office. Well, as the nation awaits to hear the president's State of the Nation's address, the EFF promises to make Parliament see red should their demands not be met, and they're not taking off their uniforms.
When Cyril starts, we start. That's how it's going to roll. When he starts speaking, we're speaking also about Pravin going. They were not going to be ruled here by Pravin. It must come to an end.
The Red Berets say the country's economy is worsening and there are no political consequences for ministers that are continuing to fail the people of South Africa. The party will demand Minister Pravin Gordhan be removed from the State of the Nation's address, and this will be the beginning of mass protest action and demonstrations countrywide that will see President Cyril Ramaphosa and his government removed from office. From Centurion, Pretoria, South Africa, Katleho Lehodi, Channels Television News.
Over in Zimbabwe, Finance Minister Mutuli Nkube has warned that traders who continue to demand payment in US dollars will face persecution. In June, the country abandoned the use of the US dollar for its official currency, the Zimbabwean dollars, reintroducing a local currency that was scrapped 10 years ago. But a shortage of local currency and its rapid decline in value has resulted in businesses, including groceries and fuel stations, demanding payments in US dollars. Mr. Nkube acknowledged the shortage of local currency in circulation and said authorities will gradually inject more cash in a very prudent way to curb inflation, which previously surged to over 500%. Zimbabwe imports most of its goods, including fuel and food. Businesses have also been struggling to get allocations of the local currency from the central bank to restock. A soldier has been killed in a suicide car bombing that targeted a military barracks in southern Algeria. It's the first of such attack in the country for several years. No one has claimed responsibility for the bombing, which happened on Sunday in Adra province, close to the border with Mali. Conflict in neighboring Libya and worsening security conditions in Mali have contributed to increased militant activity in the Sahara and Sahel areas of North Africa. Ugandan authorities say swarms of desert locusts that arrived in the country on Sunday have spread to at least 2 districts in the northeast of the country. The Prime Minister has chaired an emergency meeting of politicians and technocrats within hours of the first swarm of locusts being spotted. The authorities there say they have a well-laid-out strategy to effectively destroy the pest. Also in Tanzania, locust swarms have been spotted in the northern region after months of wreaking havoc on crops across other East African countries. As a result, the United Nations continues to warn of an unprecedented threat to food security and livelihoods, calling for international assistance.
This is now that we need to mobilize international assistance. We've been appealing for $76 million. Unfortunately, as of today, we have only received 19 million of that. We have received from the OCHA Central Emergency Response Funds a few donors, including FAO own resources, but now it's time for the international community to understand that it is an issue that needs to be dealt with now. Otherwise, we will turn a situation of a plague. There will be high level of acute food insecurity. There will be million more people that will require food assistance, and it will take us years to control this situation.
Now, the UN Refugee Agency is scaling up its response capacities in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province following a recent escalation of violence. Spokesperson Farhan Haq says at least 100,000 people are now displaced throughout the province, where at least 28 attacks were carried out. According to the UNHCR, the past few weeks have been the most volatile period since violent incidents began in October 2017.
The UN Refugee Agency said today that they're boosting the response capacity in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province following a recent escalation of violence. At least 100,000 people are now displaced throughout the province, where at least 28 attacks were carried out by armed groups since the beginning of the year. UNHCR said the past few weeks have been the most volatile period since violent incidents began in October 2017. So far, hundreds of villages have been burnt or are now completely abandoned as armed groups carry out wide and indiscriminate attacks. Government institutions have also been targeted. In response to the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian situation, and at the request of the Mozambican government to all humanitarian agencies, UNHCR is expanding its presence in the province and will be deploying additional aid and staff to meet the need initially for 15,000 displaced people and host communities. The agency is appealing for urgent and strong support to scale up its response in Mozambique.
Totally clear on that.
Let's end the program today with a chilled cup of milkshake coming from a Cape Town restaurant in South Africa. Gibson's Gourmet Burgers and Ribs has been declared the Guinness World Records official title holder for most varieties of milkshakes commercially available, with hundreds of milkshakes on offer. Take a look.
Situated in the bustling Victoria and Alfred waterfront, Gibson's offers a brain-freezing array of exotic combinations such as Nutella and mascarpone or Oreo cheesecake, while also catering for more staid palates. Fat-free, vegan and adult-only alcoholic options are also available.
When we initially opened up the restaurant, we had about 40 milkshakes, and because they were so popular, it became 100, 150, then 200, then 207. So it happened over a period of 5 years.
Mainly served in a standard 330 milliliter glass reminiscent of the 1930s American malt shop era, the double-thick cold beverages are also garnished with a variety of toppings depending on the order. First-time visitor Marcel Brown said he saw a Facebook advertisement about the Guinness World Record and decided to have a taste for himself.
We saw a Facebook ad about the Guinness Book of World Records that over 207 milkshakes, so he decided to come here today. It exceeded my expectations so much, like I'm going to come here as soon as possible again to try out every single milkshake as far as I can, because it just looks amazing.
The milkshake menu also includes fat-free shakes, vegan shakes, frozen yogurt shakes, adult shake and freak shakes decorated with indulgent toppings, served with eco-friendly straws.
That looks fantastic. Well, that's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shobowale. Bye for now.